Hey, what's going on, movie lovers? I'm Jeff.
I'm Kyle.
We are Shut Up, I Like This podcast, where we talk about how much we like movies, and we don't hate film. We like all kinds of shit.
Novel concept here on the internet.
Yep.
Liking things.
Yes.
Like, it's okay to like movies. I like movies. You like movies. Mm-hmm. We all do.
Not everything wrong with cinema. Like, that's fine. They can do their thing. We're here to appreciate film.
Right.
And today I did. Oh man, hold on. What episode is this?
I don't know. We're getting close to 60 or 70.
Yeah,
right?
we're at 66.
Oh, that's cool.
66. Wow, Dawn of the Dead, 6-6.
Ooh.
Oh, that was planned.
Spooky.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing Dawn of the Dead, 2004. Zack Snyder's directorial debut.
I didn't know that prior to doing this recording.
Yeah.
Cool.
We've done a lot of Zack Snyder on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Man of Steel. Still one of my favorite podcasts that we've done.
Yeah, that's it. I've got some stuff that I'm just gonna tie into that a little bit. But yeah,
this movie's a prequel to Man of Steel.
Oh right, yeah.
Shared universe. Henry Cavill shows up in the
That'd be cool.
in the shopping mall.
That'd be cool.
Saves him.
In Metropolis.
Yeah.
So Rotten Tomatoes, of course, we always do that first. Critic score is 75%, which
For a
very
remake, that's a pretty high score.
It's
deserving,
much
too.
So. And the audience score is 77%.
Nice.
So even higher.
Nice.
So I'll run through the cast real fast. I'll hit the director, writers, do all that kind of thing, and then we'll jump into the film.
There's some good stuff here in the cast too.
I like it.
Look how fancy we're getting. You've got notes, and now we've got like computers and stuff.
And I'm ordering stickers. Slap a sticker on that bad boy and hold it up like that.
We listen. We're trying to not be on phones and other stuff here. So, yeah. Anyway, go for it.
So running through the cast real fast. Ving Rhames, of course.
Of course.
Everybody knows Ving Rhames. He's that guy. Pulp Fiction, Marcellus Wallace.
Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm. He does comedy stuff like Chuck and Larry with Adam Sandler and Kevin's James.
Kevin James.
Fucking camera's not again.
Gets you every time, Jeff.
So I love Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames is awesome. There's more in trivia I'm going to talk about when we get to him.
Cool.
So Ving Rhames. Mekhi Phifer. I love Mekhi Phifer. Mostly because of 8 Mile. I love 8 Mile.
Yeah.
And he's had a long stint on ER or some medical show.
Sure.
Doctors.
Oh, I will agree with you because I don't know.
I think it's ER. Yeah, I wrote it down ER. Ty Burrell, before Modern Family.
Yeah. And,
before Incredible Hulk, he was in.
He plays Steve, the
asshole.
The asshole, slightly alcoholic jerk, who is
my hero.
A really fun character in this movie.
I like him. He does it great too.
Yet the actor must have had an absolute blast playing that movie. I would imagine that would be a really fun role to play.
The asshole. Michael Kelly. I'm a big Michael Kelly fan. I think he's been in something that we've talked about before.
What's that?
I'm saying I think.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure we've said his name on the podcast before. He's a great background side character.
Right.
He would later go on to be in Man of Steel. He's one of the reporters that works at the Daily Planet.
Oh, cool.
He's always trying to take Lois out.
Oh, nice. I'm just now watching House of Cards for the first time.
Seeing that?
And yes, he plays Doug Stamper in House of Cards, who is like Kevin Spacey's like
wingman
guy who will go cover up dirty deeds and other stuff for him.
That's perfect for him. Michael Kelly would be great.
It's an amazing performance. There's I don't want to spoil for people who haven't watched it, but something happens to his character that's a pretty big story arc that causes him to like really have to act in a specific way, and he does it really incredibly well. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen House of Cards because it's kind of a big.
I haven't seen it.
It's a big plot point in a later season, but he's good.
I like him.
He rocks the handlebar.
Yes, he does. I want to talk about more about him in particular.
Yep.
Kind of regarding that as well. But he's also been in stuff like Shield, Law and Order. He's a good solid actor. Save her for last. I want to mention Matt Frewer.
Max Headroom.
Max Headroom. Second time on the podcast.
He's in The Watchmen.
In Watchmen.
Yeah.
He's got a very distinctive look to him.
Yes.
And as soon as you see him, you're like, I fucking know that guy.
I know him.
And,
you hear as soon as you hear his voice, you're like,
yeah.
I know that guy. And then it takes a minute to click in when you see him.
Definitely.
Because in a lot of movies like Max Headroom,
he's always
in
covered.
Prosthesis. Watchmen,
Yeah.
he's in Prosthesis. Altered Carbon on Netflix. He plays.
He's in Altered
Yeah.
Carbon?
Oh, you haven't seen Altered Carbon?
I still want to watch that.
Oh, when you get time when the kiddos are in bed to
Is that Joe
yourself.
Kinnaman?
Yes.
Yeah, I like
Yep.
him.
You will binge watch the shit out of that show. Like, it's a perfect.
There's so much stuff I want to watch.
Oh, you gotta push Altered Carbon to the top, Jeff.
I don't know if it's going to make it to the top.
You'll dig it. You'll dig it, man.
And then our two leads, Jake Weber. He's more recently he's done 13 Reasons Why on Netflix. He was a security agent, FBI guy in White House Down, which is a movie I like.
I haven't seen that one yet. I'd probably like it.
I think you'd like it.
If I watched it.
It's definitely like, shut up, I like this. It's just fun and cool. And then Sarah Polly, I want to say Sarah Polly. She was in Splice, which is something
That's the main actress in this movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you ever see Splice when it came out?
I did. I worked at the theater when Splice came out.
I remember the marketing behind it, but I never went and actually saw it.
I watched it. It was weird.
That's what, yeah.
That's like
expected.
It was just weird.
Well, she's in that. So, there you go.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's one that it's always been on my list. I've been meaning to go back and see that.
I think I got it on DVD.
And then she was in a Friday the 13th TV series.
The Friday the 13th TV series? I'm a big fan of that. It's 3 seasons.
Didn't even know it existed.
It's about a haunted pawn shop that has nothing to do with Jason. Like, at all. They just used Friday the 13th as, like, kind of like a marketing thing. It's very Twilight Zone.
What? I've never even heard of it.
Well, no, not Twilight Zone. It's more kind of like early, like, X-Files a little bit. Like, each episode, there's this pawn shop that they inherit, and it's, like, full of all these haunted artifacts, and they accidentally, like, sell them off and let all the haunted shit out, and they have to track it all down. And so every episode, and it's low.
So it's like a Monster of the Week.
It's low budget as fuck. I mean, some of the episodes are like, we have to track down this haunted cup, and that's like legitimately, but it's fun. I like it. It was 3 seasons back in the.
How do you know what that is?
Back in the late, because I'm a big fan of stupid shit.
So what were you saying? When was that?
Late 80s.
What?
Late 80s, early 90s, probably.
Sarah Polly. So I wonder if she was like a kid in it.
She must have been.
Were there like teenagers in it or kids or?
I mean, every episode was different. I don't remember offhand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she could have just been a one and done. I didn't look to see if she was a regular or not. So I don't know. And then, of course, director Zack Snyder. We already talked about that. Big Zack Snyder fans. We talked about Man of Steel. We talked about BVS. I would like to talk about more of his stuff, but I'm sure we'll get there. Writers. This I did not know.
Because at the time, who the hell is James Gunn? Like, this is why it's fun to go back to old movies, because you know who the hell James Gunn is in 2004. At least I didn't. And
no idea.
Oh, now it's Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn. Like
Super we talked about.
Yeah, you watch it and you're like, oh, you can tell in parts. You're like, oh yeah, that's probably a James Gunn joke.
That's interesting.
That popped up in it. So I thought that was a cool little nod that, like, oh, him and Zack Snyder.
Yeah, that's weird.
Worked on a film
DC
together.
And Marvel before they were so
and now
mean.
And now DC, because he's doing Suicide Squad too.
Yeah. That's
DC
pretty
and DC.
Awesome.
You probably shouldn't ask Zack Snyder for advice, because he's probably not too happy with DC.
No. Well, Warner Brothers.
Well, yeah. Warner Brothers,
yeah. I think DC needs to break up this infatuation deal, whatever they have with Warner Brothers. They make some cool games, like the Injustice series I like, but I think Warner Brothers is just destroying DC.
They own them, though, don't they?
No way.
I think Warner owns.
Really?
I think they own, like, you know, like Disney owns Marvel?
No, Marvel owns Disney.
Or, I mean, no. Disney owns Marvel Comics.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like
I was thinking of Star Wars. They just bought Star Wars.
Yeah, Disney owns Star Wars. Disney owns everything.
Yeah.
It's like, I think, like, Time Warner owns DC Comics. I'm pretty sure on that.
Really? Okay.
If anyone cares, Friday the 13th was 87 through 90. Was when the seasons were for that show.
That's the franchise.
Well, yeah, but I clicked on.
Oh, okay.
It brings you to the big Wikipedia page.
87 through 90?
September 87 was when it first started, and it went through to 1990.
Never heard of it.
It's good. You'd probably like it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the cast, director, writer, and everything. Let's jump into it. Start off, let's just jump off right off the bat. First experience? You remember the first time you saw Dawn of the Dead?
I didn't see it in theaters. It would have been when it came out later on DVD for me.
Yeah, me too.
Director's cut. It's a good director's cut. One of the ones that I definitely recommend. If you watch the movie, that's the version you should track down.
This was early DVD purchase for me. I think this might have been at Movie Gallery.
Yeah?
Or it had to have been, because there's no way I would have bought it. I wouldn't have been able to buy it if it was
like Walmart or whatever.
The only reason I got away with it was
yeah, whatever.
We worked at Movie Gallery, so it must have been pretty recently after it came out on DVD. But I remember watching it a lot in like high school is when I started watching it a lot more and kind of having more appreciation for it. Because I remember when like I first saw it in 2004, I was in like 5th grade. Yeah, so that's probably right. And then like in middle school, I maybe saw it once. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a zombie movie, whatever, they're locked in a mall. But then in high school, when I really started getting into film and movies and history and everything, it gave me a whole new appreciation for this movie. So
I remember not having a lot of movies at the time, and this was one that I had that I really liked.
Yeah.
So it would just be on in the background.
That's weird.
Like all of the time. Well, because, when you've got like 10 movies at the time.
Well, yes.
Just just Dawn of the Dead on in the background.
Yeah, you want to come over? No, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to listen to the background noise of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, totally. It's a good movie to go to sleep to.
So, right off the bat, the first thing I wrote down is this movie does not waste any time. Within 5 minutes, zombies.
Maybe not even 5 minutes.
Oh, I looked.
Maybe so. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you time it out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 4:52 or something.
It's really quick. I appreciate it for that.
Me too. It just dives in, and it's just like you wanted to come see a zombie movie. Here's zombies. It doesn't make you wait an hour and a half.
Yeah.
To see a stupid zombie.
Walking Dead.
Yes. Exactly.
That will be our.
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, I'll say it. I don't like the show that much.
So, we've both seen this a ton of times. Mm-hmm. When was the last time you saw it before this? Was it pretty fresh when you watched it?
No, it had been a little bit since I watched it because I try to, like now, it's October, I want to watch horror movies in October. So I try to watch newer ones that I haven't seen as opposed to rewatching older ones that I've seen a bunch. So it's been a little bit since I've watched this one.
So it was pretty new watching it lately.
Yeah,
but, I mean, we both.
But then, as soon as you start getting in, you're like, "Oh, I remember that, and I remember this,"
right.
And like it all comes back to you as you watch it. So there wasn't really anything that, like, "Oh, I forgot about that scene," but just more of like a refresher of, "Yeah, it is good," and kind of validation of like, "It is good, and it does hold up."
No, definitely.
I wondered a little bit, like, after 8 seasons of Walking Dead, where it was pretty good early on, and other zombie lore that we've had over top of it's been added on to it and stuff. I'm like, I wonder if it still holds up. And yeah, it does.
Better, I would say.
Because
of practical effects.
Definitely, yep.
In Walking Dead now, it's maybe once an episode, every other couple episodes, you get one cool practical effect.
And it's in the background, like behind our couch, out of focus, that you can't see it. And then you watch Talking Dead, and they make a big deal out of it. Yeah. Did you see this? No, because it was in the shot for 10 seconds, out of focus, off camera.
Yeah, a lot of that now is all CG blood, CG head lopping, everything.
Yeah.
The reason this stands up so well is because of the practical effects, and there's a lot of them. A lot of blood, a lot of pieces that were blown up. So that's probably my favorite part of the entire film. I'm not doing scenes right now, but my favorite thing about the film is the practical effects. Because, like you said, after almost 16 years, it looks better than Walking Dead and stuff now.
It holds up. That's the benefit of using practical effects.
And people will say, well, Walking Dead's on TV, so they get a lower budget. This movie got pillaged on its budget.
Yeah.
So I got stuff in trivia about it, so...
Walking Dead has a decent budget behind it, too, for a TV show, but I know.
That's their argument. Not you, but...
You guys are good. We like you.
Yeah, you guys are cool.
Yes.
So I just want to say it doesn't waste any time, jumps into zombies. What do you think about running zombies?
I like it.
Me too.
I do.
It's refreshing. Mm-hmm. In 2004. From a 2004
And
film.
now in 2019, it's also refreshing.
Definitely.
I personally don't care. Like, I know that when George Romero did it back in the 60s, they were slow, and like that works, and that's cool. And it's okay if you want to do all slow, dumb zombies. That's totally fine. Mm-hmm. I like ones that are a little more threatening.
Yes.
Some of the Romero films play them up for jokey purposes a lot because they're dumb and they're so slow, and you can just like casually walk
and make a cool little trap and watch them walk into it and go ha 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 ha.
Yeah. I know, and like that's fine. I love George Romero. I'm not knocking him. Definitely. But I think that this is more, you could see yourself getting killed in a situation where they're faster and seemingly a little smarter and more animalistic, I think is a good way to describe them in this film. So I like that.
I hate to keep bragging on Walking Dead, but kind of comparing a 2004 zombie flick to something now and recent, I think a big problem with Walking Dead is it did lose that they're not threatening. Mm-hmm. Now it's other survivors, other people are the threat, which that's something different. That's cool and interesting, but you can get that with other stuff. If you're doing a zombie movie or a zombie show, the zombies should be the main part
primary
of
threat.
Threat, definitely. And it gets to the point in Walking Dead where they can just they're fucking skipping down the road.
I know, they've done,
and it's just
like they've survived for so long that like Carol and Daryl or whatever are just like boom, boom, like with a spear, and it's like not even a big deal. They're just like taking them all out.
Yeah,
it's cool because it shows all your characters are a badass, but it kind of removes that threat. And I really liked. I wanted to talk about, and it ties into this, just that opening shot where she's running out of the house. She gets into her car. She starts her car, and she's driving out. And her husband, who had, her boyfriend or whatever, who had just been turned, comes beelining out behind the car and is running in a mad sprint behind her. She goes around the corner, and you see him just veer off to go for another guy that's standing on his lawn. Yeah, that's like the animalistic part of it that I thought was so cool, of like, oh, well, he's giving up on her and going for an easier target, and it's all like one fluid.
Yeah, it looks. There's a lot of great shots like that.
That's probably my favorite shot in the film.
Really,
I loved that part.
Oh man,
that's cool.
My favorite because
that was different.
Yeah,
that's different for a zombie film.
Oh man, because a scene and a shot I think are different. Mm-hmm. I think when you're talking about your favorite scene, there's kind of a tone and multiple things going on. With a single shot though, that's tough. But I mean, similar to 30 Days a Night, where they had the overhead shot.
Which I dug quite a bit. Yep.
For that, and it was pretty. It followed her car around, and you saw the truck crashing into a car and into the gas.
Into the gas station, explodes up. And
so
it was a very good.
I like the overhead shots a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I really dug the layout of like the suburban little street that she was on with all the houses.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that was really visually interesting to me. Like, I like that. Like, that was a neat shot for whatever reason.
Kind of, I see what you're talking about. It's different, but it feels familiar. Mm-hmm. That's stupid, but we'll go with that.
It also kind of showed that like you're stuck.
Was she on a cul? No, it wasn't a cul-de-sac, but it was.
I thought it was like a.
It was just like a U.
Yeah, I think so. They really don't show too much of the layout. But.
It's interesting. That little girl though in the beginning, I feel pretty bad for her, and that's what a way to open a film. I mean, you get the usual character setup, what she does for a living, and shows her home and everything. But to set up that little girl and then open up a zombie film with a zombie girl killing people, like that, like I said, within 5 minutes, it's just like, boom,
there you go.
Fucking throws you
it's like, yeah, it's like that's what kind of movie you're in for.
Yes, quit yawning.
Be prepared for it.
Come on, drink your coffee.
There's nothing in my cup. Oh my god, I broke the fourth wall.
That's messed up.
I didn't bring anything today, Jeff.
And after, it's after the opening, you get the intro, I guess is the way to put it, with the Johnny Cash song.
Oh yeah,
the typical Zack Snyder opening,
which I love. That's again, so Zack Snyder.
Again, in this film, it's amazing. And this was the first time he did it. And then you can see like between this and then he like Watchmen is phenomenal. I mean, Man of Steel kind of has it. It's not as blatant as this, but you still get a musical song over him traveling and shit. So
yeah, yep.
I love those openings. And Johnny Cash, when the man comes around.
That's a good fit for this style of movie, too.
Gives you goosebumps a little bit.
Zack Snyder is...
He knows what the fuck he's doing.
Very much an artist.
It's Warner Brothers.
It's
not him.
You know, there are certain directors that are studio directors.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes, like...
who's someone we can pick on?
Yeah.
Who was the guy that did Brett Ratner?
There you go.
Okay, Brett Ratner is a studio director. You can bring him in, you can give him a budget, you'll get a movie at the end of it. It'll be exactly what the studio wants. To the T, he'll make the trims they want. Like, you're going to get what you pay for with Brett Ratner.
That's a good pull.
Zack Snyder is an artist. Like, I think that's why he kind of clashed towards the end with some of the DC stuff, because he had a long-term vision and a plan and a direction that they started letting him in, and then they were like, no, you can't do that. And with someone like him, who puts a lot of thought into this stuff, you can tell by the...
There's so many Easter eggs in this from the original. It's ridiculous.
His choice of music and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and you can't... If you hire someone like that, you've got to be willing to let them make the creative choices.
Let them work.
Let them work. There you go. Yep.
You hire somebody to do a job, let them do the job. You're not why you hire somebody to cut your grass and plant your flowers? Are you standing out on the deck telling them, no. Let me do it.
Who was that joked about, like, why would you hire John Woo and be like, what the fuck are all these doves doing in this movie? Who said that? Someone said that.
I don't know. That's funny though.
I don't remember who said. There's someone I was listening to.
That's awesome.
Maybe it was Kevin Smith, but was just talking about just like how studios are just weird how they approach stuff.
That's good. What the fuck are all these doves doing here?
Well, then why did you hire John Woo? Like what?
Why are we all walking in slow motion?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's good. So Dawn of the Dead takes place in a mall called the Crossroads Mall, which is pretty funny because
for you and me,
we have a Crossroads Mall.
Yeah.
Not quite as big.
Nowhere near as cool.
No, not nearly. But I had to talk about that.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Dead Rising 2?
Dead Rising 2? No, I never got into Dead Rising.
Dead Rising 2 was... The only reason I played it was because I think maybe it was like a free Xbox Live game.
Yeah.
But
it's in a mall.
It's in a mall. And you can go through all the different stores and you can like rescue people or kill bandits or whatever. And it definitely reminds me of Dawn of the Dead. And in Dead Rising 2, you can take like a flashlight and like diamonds and stuff, and you can make your own weapons. And you can take a flashlight and like a diamond or something and make a lightsaber.
That's dumb but cool.
It's fucking cool. I want to talk about, I know I kind of skipped these guys on the cast, but I think you have to mention Ken Foree You have to mention Tom Savini. And
Cameos
you have to mention, the cameos. Who am I missing? Who was not the president?
Those were the two that I picked up on.
I got it written somewhere. I'll get to it, but there was 3 in total. But I feel like we have to mention that Ken Foree. We've had when I talked about Rob Zombie,
Devil's Rejects.
Devil's Rejects with Brian. Ken Foree's in that.
Still pissed you did the
We've had, this is Tom Savini is, what, 3rd or 4th?
Yeah, because he was randomly in Zack and Miri.
Zack and Miri.
The other week when we did that
one. Dusk Till Dawn, he's in this. Even though it's a cameo, I'm counting it because it's a Tom Savini movie.
It totally is. And of course, you guys know he did special effects for Romero. Right. He was in the original Dawn of the Dead. What was the name of his character? It was really cool.
He was a biker, wasn't he?
Yeah, they had really cool names, like Blades or like Blade or something weird like
remember.
that. Yeah, it was just like really cool.
Sex Machine.
No, that was from Dusk Till Dawn, but
I can't remember. Wasn't he in like Hell's Angels or something? He was like some biker.
It's just some unnamed biker gang that was coming in and they stormed the mall looking for supplies and shit.
Yeah. Tom Savini is so cool.
He's cool. He's a good guy.
I've shared some Twitter pictures that he posts. He's like 100 years old and he's still jacked.
Yeah, I know.
Dude's a stud. He is a sex machine.
Yeah.
So
Robert Rodriguez, really quick, talked about working with him on the zombie movie that Rodriguez did, Planet Terror. And he was like, it's so easy working with him in a movie involving special effects because you don't have to tell him. Like, they had some gag, I think, with his hand or something. You don't have to explain to him how to hold it in front of the camera. Like other actors, you gotta be like, oh, you gotta hold it like this and do it like that, and the blood will come. Like, he just obviously just give it to him, and he's like, bam, I know how to do it, and can make it look like great on film, because that's what he does. That's what he's done for a living for all these years. So I always thought that was cool about him.
While we're on the subject, since we were talking about comparing like Dawn of the Dead, how it looks better than Walking Dead now, I think it's kind of ironic that Dawn of the Dead, Tom Savini, Walking Dead, Greg Nicotero.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Savini, Greg Nicotero, Tom Savini's understudy, essentially, working on Walking Dead.
I get it. I get it. It's a little unfair, because if it was up to Greg, it would be all practical effects and Walking Dead. But I totally get.
So it's kind of funny that in a show filled with visual effects.
Did K&B do the effects work?
No, they didn't.
Why?
I don't know. I looked and I couldn't find it.
That's dumb.
I couldn't find Savini. I couldn't find Nicotero. I couldn't find any of them.
They would have been who better?
I don't know.
Who better?
But I imagine Savini was probably only there for a day. He probably wasn't even on location.
Probably wasn't even on location, because he was on a
television set.
He was on the television. That's right. As the police officer, shoot him in the head.
Yeah, you shoot him and you burn him.
Yeah,
that's it. But
he was probably in his backyard. Yeah.
Could have been. I don't know, but anytime that you can get Tom Savini or Ken Foree, I love Ken Foree in this film, because he does another television shot. He's the preacher that talks about when there's
no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Which is a quote from the original.
Mm-hmm. It's tagline, quote from the original one.
Did he say it?
You're putting me to the test right now, Jeffrey.
He might have said it.
I don't remember. We'll let someone fill us in the comments below on that one.
I wonder if he did.
I don't know.
That'd be super cool. But I love that little, when Michael Kelly's watching the TV and like all the news goes down and then it's just the preacher and he's just sitting there watching it, and Ken Foree's just fucking going after it. It's because of man-on-man love. It's because I'm just like, this is amazing. And that kind of leads into something else I want to talk about with Michael Kelly's character, with the handlebars.
The Motorhead.
There's a lot of, I don't want to call it foreshadowing, because I think you kind of have to buy into it. But with the Ken Foree in that scene talks about man-on-man love, and then it cuts to Michael Kelly and he kind of gets uneasy, and then there's just like one of the other security guards is making fun of the rookie and calls him a faggot.
Yeah.
And then he stands up and fucking like gets pissed off for a second. I think Michael Kelly's character is gay in this.
You think so?
Yeah. I think that's like an underlying thing.
Possibly. I guess I didn't really.
That never really gets touched on.
I didn't really connect the dots. It could be.
But there's just a bunch of little instances like that.
Huh.
He gets pissed off, is presumably at the word faggot, and then the quick cut between man-on-man love and shit. And
that's interesting.
The mustache. I mean, I don't know. I was kind of hoping you noticed it too. So
I really didn't.
Man, I was kind of hoping we could talk about it. I don't know. There was something there that was strange. So you kind of talked about your favorite shot. Do you have a favorite scene?
I do, and I really want to pick a scene that's on the DVD extras, which is weird, because this will be the only time I'll get to do this.
Okay.
You know Andy, the gun shop owner from across the street?
I want to talk more about him.
I absolutely love his character, and on the DVD extras, they have a short that's filmed with, like,
the video diary?
The video diaries of Andy, and that's really super cool. And that's not technically in the film.
I'll count it.
But I'm going to count it because his character is in the film, and it shows you what he's going through on the other side of it. He's awesome.
I really like Andy.
Like, really awesome. Like, it's a good movie. You take him out of it, and you lose, like, points from the overall film if you take him out of it. Because he's just... so many good parts that he's in.
Yeah.
Hanging Burt Reynolds.
Right.
I mean, come on.
That they play.
Yeah.
The shoot celebrity lookalikes, and they're playing chess and stuff, which is awesome. Okay, so there is something that I want to not really pick out about it, but the way that they try transferring supplies to him, I think is kind of goofy.
A lot. Especially because she just drives the truck over.
I'll talk more about that dummy in a minute. Mm-hmm. But, like, when you watch a film like this, you kind of put yourself in there like, oh, what would I do? And this shows them doing stuff, playing basketball and working out and shit. I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, I'd play basketball in the middle of a mall. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But they also show that there's, like, a sporting goods store and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I would put money that there's a bow or a crossbow or something in that mall.
I would think so too.
So this is my thing for supplies, or even getting Andy across, right? Because they're probably, I am completely guessing out my ass here, but I'd say they're probably 100 yards away.
There's definitely a parking lot. Yeah. And a city block.
I'd say safely 100 yards.
Yeah.
I think you could fucking shoot an arrow 100 yards if you angle it, right? And the mall looks to be above.
It is, because there's an elevator. There's at least three floors. 3 floors.
And there's 2 at Andy's. So my take for the supplies, first of all, tie some fucking rope to an arrow. Shoot it across there. If it doesn't stick, let Andy pick it up, fucking tie it down.
Yeah.
Fucking shoot, send over cans of beans or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Robin Hood.
There you go. I even wondered, you know how they have those really good, like, expensive RC cars you can buy? I don't know.
Yes.
Gas powered back then, or battery powered, or whatever, but like
battery or something.
Yeah, but you could
still.
Yeah, you're right. It's a whole. And this is before malls are completely dead like they are now.
There's gotta be shit in there.
I would think so too.
Good shit. And they're... Or
actually, she did drive the truck fairly easily across the street, and they could have probably planned
a better way of entrance.
Ving Rhames probably could have drove it over a lot safer.
And then they could have climbed up on the top, got on the fucking back, and threw.
Our point is they could have saved poor Andy before they starved him to death and let him get beat.
Exactly. There are so many ways to get fucking supplies to Andy. There are so. I know they're on the same fucking frequency on radios and stuff, but at first I was like, how the fuck did you get on the walkie-talkie?
Yeah.
But it's a radio, whatever, so that's stupid. But still, there's so many other things I would have tried at least. Who's to say that it would work or not? Yeah. But fucking try. Andy's over there starving to death. He works at a gun store. You think he has food? He probably had his brown bag of lunch.
They explain it in the shorts where he only had like a little refrigerator with today's lunch in it that he rationed out.
What the fuck, people? Yeah. It frustrates me and stuff like this. Like, either show us, like, trying different shit, or just say that, or say it. Mm-hmm. You know, don't just leave it like you didn't even try or think of it.
Right.
Just piss me. Because I like Andy. Andy could have fucking lived.
Yeah, he was good.
He had this good sense of humor about all of it.
It's a good shot.
Good shot, yeah. What's Bing Rames, right? Something like, Fort Pastor gone, everybody dead.
Yeah.
What's the bad news?
Yeah.
Like, that, I want that guy.
I know, he's a cool character.
If I was stuck in the mall, I'd been like, I'm going to Andy's.
Yeah, I'm going to the gun shop.
Like, fuck you guys. I'm glad you like him.
He was a good character. I wonder if he was a James Gunn creation.
I don't know. I forgot to look up who Andy was.
Yeah, the actor that I can find out.
You got fucking IMDb right there. Look that up. So while I talk about Andy, that kind of leads me to the stupid fucking dog lady that I want to talk about a little bit. I forgot what her name is. Nicole. Nicole sucks. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my god, he was in Man of Steel.
As who? Ace of Clubs bartender? Oh, he's a bartender where he works when he...
Here you go, Bruce.
Beats up that guy.
His name's Bruce.
Bruce Bond
probably.
Fargo?
Patch Adams.
Man of Steel. That's fucking awesome. So I bet he's a Zack Snyder guy.
Probably.
What else? Anything of note?
He's one of the Man of Steel. He's one of those guys that looks like he's in everything you've ever seen that you don't just realize it.
That's interesting.
He played a crackhead in How to Kill a Mockingbird in 2002.
Crackhead. That's what Zack Snyder saw him in. He's like, I'm bringing him in for Andy. Oh, man, I'm so glad you liked Andy. But
he was in Jingle All the Way.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. 100% Jingle All the Way.
Santa at warehouse.
At the warehouse door.
A door.
So the scene where Schwarzenegger goes in, he was one of the ones...
What's the password?
Standing by. Probably.
So he's been on twice.
If he's credited with a speaking line, and like a character name, that means he had to have some kind of a speaking line.
Oh my god. He's been on the podcast before.
I love that. I love when that happens.
Bruce, welcome to the...
Andy.
Welcome.
He's cool.
2 credits on Shut Up, I Like This.
He's cool.
That's awesome. I love Andy more.
Computer's a good idea.
Right? Andy's awesome.
I'm glad that you liked him too. I was wondering if I was going to be alone.
No,
on that
I wanted more Andy. And I've already talked about it.
I keep talking about, we've talked about that scene too much, but what I wanted to mention about it that I really like is that you put a group of guys together, no matter what the situation, and like, they're on, like we're...
On the roof shooting stuff?
Shooting shit, like, that's just kind of what we do. Like, we just get bored and we start fucking around, and like, that's a very guy situation, like...
And the girls are downstairs doing their hair.
And they just don't understand at all why it's fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're on the roof.
I don't know why either.
Jay Leno.
And he finds them, too, in a crowd of thousands of zombies.
Because you got to admit, how would you pass the time?
Exactly. I like how he goes up there and plays chess with them. I like how he goes up and shit.
If only they could have saved him.
I know. But, I mean, at the end, you can't even save yourself, so.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. And while they're up on the roof and playing basketball, working out, fucking, all that other stuff, what'd you think of the Down with the Sickness cover?
Oh, by Richard Cheese.
It's very jazzy and
the lounge singer
get
version.
Up, get down.
That guy's really cool. He does a bunch of like lounge. I think
covers
of. I'm trying to think of what the name of his band is, like Lounge Against the Machine or something.
What?
Something silly like that. The guy's name's Richard Cheese. Yeah, he does really cool. He does like Smells Like Teen Spirit and shit, like in that style. Yeah, it was like a thing.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I like how
I loved it. It fits the movie so incredibly well, and then they loop back to the Disturbed version in the end credits, but it fits perfect in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, I like
Again, Zack Snyder, I want to look at his record collection at home, because this dude's got a fucking cool taste in music.
While we're there, since we talked about Johnny Cash and we talked about, what's his name, Richard?
Richard Cheese.
Those are the 2 songs that nobody wanted in the film except for Zack Snyder. Even the studio was like, no.
This is why you hire Zack Snyder.
And leave him to do his shit.
And you trust him, because he's a visionary.
And it worked out really well.
I'm a big fan of his. He's got a new zombie movie coming out.
Zack Snyder?
Yes. It was just announced.
Oh. What is it?
I can tell you if you want to talk about your next point.
Another character that I liked aside from Andy was Norma. She was the truck driver. She's the one that got shot by Mekhi Phifer, and that kind of made me sad too, because I like those. I don't want to call her old, because I mean she wasn't old, but kind of those take no shit women. And she's a fucking.
Oh, you're talking about the older lady, the
truck driver.
Truck driver. Yep.
I wanted to see more of her. I wanted her to have more lines.
I liked her a lot too,
because I like those characters who are just like no bullshit. And I mean, she was brave. She saved a bunch of people and shit. And she's like, yeah, I saved them.
Yeah.
Like, she just would be cool to have a beer with.
I felt sad for her because she was one of the few characters, maybe the only character in the movie who just gets shot.
Yeah.
Not bit by a zombie. Not.
It was a fucking Mekhi Phifer.
Just shot. She was really good. She was good.
Okay, after this, I want to talk about the zombie baby.
Army of the Dead is the name of the new. It was just announced a couple weeks ago. Yeah, by Zack Snyder.
So happy.
He's got a story credit for it too. Following a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, a group of mercenaries take the ultimate gamble, venturing into the quarantine zone to pull off the greatest heist ever attempted. So it's a zombie movie and it's a buddy heist film at the same time.
So it's an outbreak in Las Vegas. People quarantine it so it doesn't get out, and then these guys are like, we're going in.
Heist movie.
That's fucking crazy. That's exactly what I want.
Welcome back, Zack Snyder. I don't think anyone's been announced in it.
That's crazy, though. This is what I want to see.
Yeah.
A semi-sequel to Dawn of the Dead. What?
Ooh. that might just be you or me adding that in there.
Right, exactly.
Well, what did I say the name of it was?
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. I mean, it's got the...
Army of Darkness?
Well, it's got the of the Dead.
Oh, right.
You know, all the Romero films, Dawn of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead. Okay, so real quick, this sounds really cool. This will be Zack Snyder's first film after taking a break to focus on his family after his daughter's death and to collaborate with suicide prevention. Snyder told THR, not sure who THR is.
Maybe like TMZ, I'm going to guess.
There are no handcuffs on me at all with this one. I thought this was a good palate cleanser to really dig in with both hands and make something fun and epic and crazy and bonkers in the best possible way. I love to honor canon and the works of art, but this is the opportunity to find a purely joyful way to express myself through a genre. It will be the most kick-ass, self-aware, but not too wink in the camera way, balls to the wall, zombie freak show that anyone has ever seen. No one's ever let me completely loose like this. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh. So, what?
Netflix took over the project from Warner Brothers.
Oh, fuck yeah, he got out from underneath Warner Brothers.
And we'll start filming in the summer of 2019 with a budget of up to $90 million.
Okay, so remember how we were talking about how shit that goes on Netflix can just be whatever the fuck you want it to be and unrated?
I hope that quote's real. That's gotta be.
That's a real quote. I remember reading that on social media because a lot of people were talking about, like what we said, about how his experience towards the end with Warner Brothers was very constricting for him, and this is like his let it all out passion project. And I love the way it sounds like he's going to honor George Romero.
Oh my god.
Because I've talked about this on the podcast, I've always hated the way George Romero started this whole zombie thing that we're on.
Oh yeah,
and then he gets credit for it, but he could never find the proper funding for his movies, and he always got fucked over afterwards with them. You know how there was no copyright on.
But he created the zombie genre.
He did, and here he had scripts that he wanted to get produced and done, and studios were like, no.
Very much like John Carpenter.
And yet you go to Walmart and there's a $5 bin full of shitty zombie movies that no one's ever going to watch that got made. And so I always hated that. So I hope that in his way of honoring, he brings in all of the people. Tom Savini, all of them.
Ken Foree.
You know they're going to be in it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I have to... let me just read this one more time.
This is an unplanned sidebar, but this is a lot of fun for us.
He's going to make something fun, epic, crazy, bonkers in the best possible way. He loves to honor the canon. And this is an opportunity to find a purely joyful way to express myself. It will be kick-ass, self-aware, balls to the walls, zombie freak show. Mm-hmm. No one's ever let me completely loose like this.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm super excited for it.
If you're watching this and you love this movie and that doesn't make you cum in your pants, I don't know what you're doing right? Here. Holy shit! It takes a second.
Army of the Dead is a solid name for a
Army of the Dead
for a film too.
Oh my god, I'm more excited for that now than anything. I'm gonna. Ugh. Anyways, okay. Is there anything else you want to say?
I was trying to see what year.
Probably 2020. If it starts filming this summer.
Yeah, because I think it was just announced. I don't see it. I don't have a year on it yet.
Nobody's ever let me completely loose like that. That's gotta be a T-shirt.
Right?
Zack Snyder, completely loose. Army of the Dead. Oh man, I think we just need to take a second and like.
It's in pre-production. It don't even have a.
Yeah, that's right. Don't even have a
thing.
Cool.
What I like about this. This is a good little site. I'm assuming you guys find this interesting. Because it's on Netflix. You know what this means? It stops all that bullshit of opening weekend. This movie had this budget, and this is what it did at the box office, and now it's a failure, and then all the negativity that comes from that. Or it was really good at the box. Like, none of that matters because it's on Netflix.
Right.
None of it matters.
Oh, I tell you what, as soon as that comes out, that day I'm watching it. We're doing a podcast on it. Release day.
Okay, I'm down for that.
Army of the Dead.
New life goal, live long enough to see Army of Dead.
That's so awesome. Especially we're such huge Zack Snyder fans. And
I think you'll have Henry Cavill in it. Henry Cavill's got he's got that Witcher Netflix series coming on. Sounds like DC might be fucking him over with Superman.
I don't know. That's Warner Brothers, not DC.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I'm
just saying there's a chance he could be available.
Oh man. But he loves to honor canon. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to Dawn of the Dead and finish this up.
Okay.
So I want to talk about the zombie baby scene, because
okay.
That's a pretty dark piece of shit for anything,
any movie,
any genre. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we find out, first of all, Mekhi Phifer's keeping his wife, presumably, I think it's his wife, tied down and chained to a bed.
Yeah.
While she's slowly turning into a zombie, because she just had like a little, like your 2-year-old gives you. Mm-hmm. So she's slowly turning, but she's super pregnant. So he's like nursing this zombie woman to have a baby. And then she dies right before she gives birth.
Yes.
Does she come back alive before he gets it out?
Yeah.
And then he...
Because she's a zombie. She's a zombie. She's a zombie tied up giving birth.
Oh, man. So then, not only do we see that, which is already pretty disturbing and pretty fucked up, but you see the zombie baby. You see the zombie baby. This is where I'm bummed when Trucker Lady comes in and sees everything that's going on. And she's like, what the fuck? Mekhi Phifer's gone crazy. Mm-hmm. You're gonna hurt my family?
You know what I'd have done in that situation?
Shot both of them?
Back the fuck up and let's go back to the group and be like, Ving Rhames,
okay,
you deal with this.
Okay, so Norma...
Because she's tied up in the bed. She's not going anywhere.
What's her name? Anna, the main girl?
Yeah.
She says that, I'm going to go check on them. Norma's the one that says,
I'll take care of it. I need a smoke anyway.
I bet Anna would have backed up.
You think so?
Yeah. I think if Anna went, Norma would still be alive.
Yeah, because there was the scene early on with Max Headroom, his character, where they didn't want to kill him. And she was really like, you can't do it, no.
Yeah, I think she would have backed up and walked away, went back and been like, we gotta fucking situation. But Norma was just like, because she's no bullshit, just poof. But then she takes a whole bunch of shots. And I know it's a zombie baby, I know it's a movie, but probably the most anxious part of that was like, don't shoot the baby.
Oh.
You know, it's just, even though it's a zombie baby and shit, but it's just like, if you would have saw that, it would have been even weirder and worse. I don't know. But the whole zombie baby thing, and right before, she does die. She dies, and before she comes back, you see her... Does she
come back?
Yeah, oh yeah. She turns into a zombie. When she dies from the wound... Oh,
you're talking about the pregnant.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking...
No, not Norma, not Norma.
Yeah, she doesn't. The pregnant girl does.
Luda.
Sorry.
So as she dies, you get this close-up of her belly.
Oh, and you see it, like...
It's like, I thought Alien was going to happen for a second.
Did you think that was... I remember when I was first watching it, thinking, like, are they going to do, like, an Alien...
That'd been crazy.
Chest burster thing? They probably should have.
Zombie baby.
Wouldn't that have been cool?
Yeah. I've got more in trivia about it. I don't want to blow my load too quick, but I thought that just the whole zombie baby concept, you put in any film, let alone... It makes sense in this film. I get it, but to have... Even horror films and action movies have a certain parlay with children and stuff. And when you do get it, it's always just very unsettling. But even when the baby's a zombie, like, it's just unsettling and creepy. And the way that they were going to do it's even creepier, so I'll get to that.
Ooh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, but...
the only unfortunate thing about watching this movie now... Did you ever watch Z Nation? On Sci-Fi. Like the first or second episode of Z Nation, there's a zombie baby, and it's very, very poorly done.
Oh.
Like very bad CGI, and it crawls across the floor, and it's just terrible looking.
Well, it's sci-fi.
And I know. And now you can't help but you see this, and now all I think of is fucking Z Nation.
I thought this looked good.
It looked fine. It looked way more convincing than this movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'll have to pull it up on YouTube after.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll love it.
I'll pull it up after we're done recording for you.
So, yeah, I want to talk about that. Another... half of these people who died, it's not because of what they were doing, or everybody was being safe, but it's just because of Mekhi Phifer keeping a zombie baby, and fucking Nicole gets so many people killed. Nicole... chasing after her fucking dog.
Which one was Nicole? The redheaded chick?
Yeah, that chases after Chips! And then she steals a truck, and so she gets Andy killed. She gets Tucker killed because on the way back, because then they have to go off plan, make up this whole new crazy plan to go through the sewers and do all this other crazy shit. And Tucker, the old trucker-looking hillbilly guy, he ends up getting eaten because they were waiting down at the bottom of the fucking... Nicole gets so many people killed, I would have... I hate that. Because it's not going to be me that gets me killed, it's going to be Nicole. I forget his name. What did I say? Tucker?
Tucker, you were actually correct. Yep. Boyd Banks is the name of the actor.
Boyd Banks. What's he been doing? Jason X. Black
Fat
Sheep.
Lou and Jason X.
Oh, he's in Land of the Dead.
Yeah, I like Land of the Dead.
Yeah, that's another
I want to do Land of the Dead.
This one had buses too. What do they call it in Land of the Dead?
Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning.
Because that was supposed to be the name of the film. Again, the studio was like, you can't call it Dead Reckoning. No one knows that. You got to have the Of the Dead in there. And so, well, Land of the Dead.
He's got something about buses.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Buses and helicopters.
That unintentional, like there's buses in this movie. Like, oh, that's Dead.
But it's probably because
Dead
Zack
Reckoning.
Snyder.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Land was 2005.
Oh, it was? So it was after this?
It was after, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Snyder paying homage to...
No.
Huh. So...
maybe Romero's seen it. Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool idea.
I should have used a fucking bus. All I used was helicopters.
She's in Left 4 Dead, too.
Left 4 Dead, too.
Yeah, the video game.
Tom Savini, Ken Foree, and Scott Reiniger was the other one. He played like the army general that they ask all the questions to. Is this airborne? We don't know. Is this a virus? We don't know.
That scene is creepy.
Is this a health issue or a military matter? Both. It's good.
Yeah. That seems really creepy. I think something that always freaks me out is those EAS test tones that come on. And this is an emergency broadcast system like that.
Yeah, I don't like that shit.
And because there's never, even if it's just
there's nothing good.
Like there's nothing ever good that comes after that if it's an actual message. Right. Even if it's just a test, it can be sunny and 80 degrees outside, right. And that can go off, and you're like, what in the fuck is going on? I hate that shit. And so that scene in this movie reminds me of that. Like, you can imagine, like, the EAS test tones, and then that shit comes over it, where you're like, we don't know what the fuck is going on. That, to me, is just creepy. Creepy shit.
So we've done, like, Dusk Till Dawn, we've talked about vampires. We did Daybreakers, we've talked about vampires. You know, I think this is our first zombie flick that we've talked about. Probably one of the best zombie flicks.
Have we done Shaun of... We haven't done Shaun of the Dead.
No.
That's one I want to. I think this is our first.
Yeah.
How have we done more vampire movies than zombies?
I know, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, we haven't done a zombie movie yet.
Not that I don't dislike vampire movies, but that's not like my god.
No,
that's
Blade.
That's not my go-to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though?
There's been lots of vampires on the podcast.
Yeah.
So here, if the outbreak were to happen, where we live in a town of 8,000 people.
Oh.
What's your first...
I've thought about this.
Where are you going?
I already have a detailed and thorough answer.
Okay.
For you, Jeff.
I didn't ask him before. That's funny.
So when I used to work at the theater...
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
You know where I'm going with this. I have to set it... No, not the basement.
Oh.
I have to set this up a little bit better for people who are not familiar with the area. So our theater is single screen. It's on Main Street. And it's a 2-story building. There's a big basement, and then like the theater, and then there was what used to be old apartments up above the theater that are now walled off. Completely on the back. There are no windows on the side because it's in the middle, and there's the windows front, but they're above the marquee. Yep. And the only way in and out of them is this in the projection booth. There is a cutout hatch up top that you open up that has a little like ladder that you climb up. That's the only way into them. And then there is
that's kind of creepy.
There's a hatch on the roof that you can get, so you got roof access. That's the only 2 ways.
I'm fucking going with
That's the only 2 ways in and out. So you can like lock the downstairs part of the building, and then you can board the projection booth area up. And then you've got roof access, so you can collect water. You can grow whatever you need to grow. And then here's the best part, because you're downtown, the building's daisy chain. So you can get to the ground from other sections, but the only way in is through the roof hatch on the theater. And it would be...
Yeah, you can go across the roofs, have like a ladder down or something.
Yeah, it would be like the size of like 4 large apartments, I think, on the inside. So you've got plenty of space in there as well, too. It's like the perfect area.
Dude, we should do a movie there.
Yeah, right?
That'd be cool as hell.
That's my answer for where I would go. You can come too.
Thank you. Can my kids come?
You can bring your family and your kids. There's room.
That's weird, but
and like legit, like there's no. They blocked off the old fire like exit where it used to be out the back. It's like bricked off, walled off. There's no.
That's creepy. Why?
Because the apartments, you couldn't rent them with it being above the theater.
Why?
Just it's loud.
I'd live there.
Well, yeah. I really don't have the full answer for that. And then years later, like when they went to run the air conditioning, like the air conditioning ducts for the theater are just like in the middle of the apartment. So you walk up there, and there's like a jigsawed like hole with like the air duct.
You could rework that.
And like like you could rip all that shit out and whatever. It's perfect. It's perfect. I wish I had like photos or something.
Well, it's fun because I know exactly what you're talking about because I lived in apartments above the chiropractor downtown.
Yeah.
And I was walled in on both sides.
Yep.
And I in the back I'd have 3 windows. Mm-hmm. My bedroom didn't have a window. My bathroom didn't have a window. It's an odd place.
These are more than like. Because it's like cemented, bricked shut, so you can't get in and out because they're like, they don't want you in this section. It's fucking, I'm telling you, it's perfect.
That's crazy.
Zombie apocalypse ever happens, and then it's even like in this movie, you're on the roof, like Andy with his sign. So you've got the vantage point for our whole small town. Of like what's going on all sides. It's the perfect spot in our stupid little corner of the world.
I want to go up there really bad.
Oh, if I still worked there.
Oh, we could figure it out.
Yeah. We went up there one time when I worked there.
For what? Just cause?
Well, just cause it was fun. But no, we were closed and the fireworks were in town, and so I'm like,
up to the roof?
I'm like, if you guys want to go to the roof and watch fireworks, you sure can. So we went up to the roof and.
Lights and everything still work up there?
Yeah, there's power up there.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That completely beats what I was going to say. I've got a new plan. Really? Okay.
Creepy is cool.
Okay.
Told you I thought about this.
Yeah. So, okay. That just, I was completely caught off guard. My other question was, so that's what you would do here. If you were in the film, in the mall, like, what would be your position in the group, and what would you do in the mall?
What would I do in the mall? To just like
all this free time,
just like hang out.
What are you doing?
Well, I mean, they showed them watching Animal House at one point, so presumably there's some kind of like video store. Or place where there are DVDs, so I'm getting caught up on a lot of movies. A lot of movies. But it'd be fun to go to the sporting goods store, like you said. And you got this big-ass shopping mall, like I'm getting like Nerf footballs and shit. And like, we're going to the middle concords and like, go along, Jeff. And just like, I'm playing with all the sporting goods stuff. Like, that'd be a lot of fun, too.
I always think about like... I've played a lot of survival games. And I've seen a lot of movies and shit. The first thing that I was thinking was look for seeds and look for
definitely
dirt and shit like that. Why? What are they doing? Fucking.
They do a lot of fucking off in both the original and in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, my first idea would be, well, we have running water now, but look around. We're probably not. Like, we need to be. Find some big
bottles and shit.
Find some big ass containers.
Loading
like,
exactly.
Like right now,
we're gonna live so long in the zombie apocalypse.
Like you've got the part of the theater thing too is like you've got the roof to where you can collect water.
Exactly.
Like rainwater. Yeah. Like they've got the big roof. Like you need to be. If you ever watch any of those shows like Survivor Man or whatever on TV, he shows how to make, you know, like a water trap out of like a tarp and stuff, so that if it rains, you funnel rainwater into some kind of container or whatever, so that you can reuse it, because it's super fucking important, spoiler alert, to have water.
No shit.
That would probably be what I would do. Is like I would be encouraging of like practical ideas for like we should probably
plant some food, collect water. Shit like that.
Doing a little better than just locking the doors.
Yeah, put some, at least paint. I went into this thinking that, don't they paint the doors? So like zombies can't
you're thinking a little bit of the original film. In the original film, they actually build an apartment in the office area where because they land the helicopter on the roof. They come in, they build like a little home up there that they board off from the rest of the mall to where there's only one way in and out. Because that's kind of their little well, if the mall gets overrun, we have like our little safe space that you can't.
Exactly.
They don't do that in this one.
That's the first thing you do.
And I don't think as much time passes.
I've got some trivia about that. So, well, let's get into like final thoughts and stuff.
Okay.
I'll get some trivia out. You have final thoughts? Any last remarks? Stuff that we missed?
Yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff other than the film, but I think it's interesting.
It's all interesting.
I hope it's good stuff anyway. I liked it. There's stuff that I liked about the original that they didn't do, but I'm kind of okay with. Like, I liked in the original, like we just talked about, how they kind of built their own little house up in there. I thought that was interesting. I liked the helicopter. Like, I liked Flyboy in the original, teaching them how to fly the helicopter and just like, this is our escape plan. And their escape plan, they even make a joke about it in this movie. It was very, oh, that's what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, they fly by it a lot more in the seat of their pants in this one. But I'm okay with that, because it's a different movie. Like, it takes the original idea and it tells a different story. It doesn't try to incorporate every element.
Right.
And I think that's what makes it successful.
Okay.
For me, anyway.
Yeah. Like you said, they do a lot of fucking off.
Yeah.
And for a zombie movie, I'd like to see a little more survival shit going on. I know it's boring to watch them, like, collect rainwater or something.
No, but
like,
that's always my favorite.
I'd rather see that than...
Yeah.
Or add it with the other stuff, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to see. And, like in the original, I think they did a good job. Zack Snyder did a great job of taking the concept and the original idea, but in keeping it in line with the tone and how it is kind of tongue-in-cheek at some points, but at the same time it's very serious and it has good serious scenes, and it kind of balances those. And at the same time, he made it his own, a lot of with the music and a lot of with the action and stuff like that. So it gets regarded a lot as like one of the best remakes, and I definitely think so for sure.
I don't know if I don't have a list offhand of like, here's my top 10 best favorite remakes of all time, Jeff. I don't know why I said it like that, but I always come back to John Carpenter's The Thing is my favorite remake.
Oh, what? The remake?
Yeah, John Carpenter's The Thing is a remake of...
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the new, like, 2011 one.
No, like the John Carpenter one's a remake of The Thing from The Thing from Another Planet, the black and white horror movie. Yeah. Because it's so much better, like, not to knock the original, but it's like leaps and bounds better than the original, to the point that people don't even talk hardly about the black and white original film. So to me, that one's always kind of like he wins the cake.
But that's like us taking a 1912 movie and making it now, like technology wise. Stuff. Like that's like cheating.
It's still technically a remake.
I know.
So that wins it for me.
Fine. I don't even have anything else.
It's a little harder because, the original Dawn of the Dead is great, and Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is great.
Yeah.
I can watch either or, and they're both great.
I completely on the spot, I can't even think of a remake right now. Like, I'm toasted.
Yeah.
I literally cannot think of one.
Then you run into weird territory where it's like, Evil Dead is a remake that maybe is just in an alternate universe from the original Evil Dead films.
I like that Evil Dead remake.
It kind of alludes to that, too. So is it a remake?
Let's do trivia.
Yeah.
When Ving Rhames heard of a remake, he tracked down the producer so he could be in the film, which is super cool.
He did that himself?
I like that people...
That's cool.
There are people like us that like movies.
He was like, I really liked being in that movie. I want to be in that movie again.
Although strong reservations about some elements of the film, George Romero said that he was surprisingly impressed with the film.
Solid.
Zombies missing the arms and legs were real amputees. That's the original.
I didn't know that. I thought that was super cool. We forgot to mention that too.
Yeah, those are super cool.
There's the guy with one arm and then the legless one that's like crawling above us, like right now.
Have you seen that special feature thing where they show how they did it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool.
That's good stuff. Nowadays, that's offensive.
Yeah, right.
He's a people too, Jeff.
They're not amputees. They're
amputees.
They're leg challenged.
Vertically challenged.
This film was shot chronologically, which is rare.
Oh, movies really don't do that too often.
Which is pretty crazy. Different colors of blood were used to show different zombies. So like fresher zombies still had red blood. Went darker, darker, darker until older and decomposed zombies' blood was almost black. In the beginning of the film, you see a truck crash into a diner. This is a reference to Night of the Living Dead, when Ben mentions that he was listening to the radio when a truck crashed into the gas pumps.
Cool.
Universal slashed... We're going to have to talk about this for a second.
Okay.
I know you know this film. Universal slashed the budget of this after the failure of House of the Dead.
Oh.
Fearing the public didn't want another zombie film. And it cut this film down to $28 million.
Damn.
28. What were we talking? We were talking about Dick Tracy doing a remake for like 50.
Yeah.
They did this with 28.
28. Wow. Hey, there's a good Dick Tracy director, Zack Snyder.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be cool. Now that he's back in the game.
Slow motion. Like he did in he did in Watchmen. Like that would actually be really cool.
That'd be
Sorry. They fucking because House of the Dead sucked.
Of the Dead.
They cut the budget for Dawn of the Dead. Someone at Universal was like
does not know what they're talking about.
Like smoking like an old man pipe.
Twirling their beard.
I don't think this zombie thing
it's gonna pan out, Martha.
Yeah, Martha.
Oh God, I didn't do that.
Yeah, you did. It was subliminal. Like, how big of a fuck up was that? Like a couple of years later, say what you will about it, but like Walking Dead was the hottest thing ever.
But it's just so weird that how a U-Bowl film. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, it's U-Bowl.
House of the Dead is pretty rough.
Have you heard Rob Zombie talk about his time with Universal on filming House of a Thousand Corpses?
No.
It started out as Universal funding it.
Really?
And he was like, every time they would see the dailies, like you could tell that they were just like
dying inside.
They were getting more and more unhappy with it. And so he was like, I just purposely kept... Yeah. He was like, I just purposely kept filming things that I knew they wouldn't like because I knew I could be able to buy my own movie back cheaper if I kept making shit that they didn't. So he bought it back from Universal with his own money and then sold it to what? Lionsgate? And then Lionsgate...
Yeah, Lionsgate does everything.
Yeah. So again, there's...
Look, I'm Fish Boy.
There's Universal just not knowing anything about anything.
Most zombie makeup effects were modeled after real forensic photos. Just pretty grueling. So, like, if there were zombies that were in a car crash, they looked at car crash photos.
Creepy.
Very creepy. We mentioned it, Zack Snyder's directorial debut, which is pretty awesome. Nathan Fillion auditioned for the role of Michael.
Which one was Michael? The
main guy, isn't he?
Was he?
I think so. You got the computer.
I got trivia up too.
That's crazy. I think it was.
Come on, Nathan Fillion. How did Nathan Fillion not get?
Well, no. Was he in Land of the Dead? I thought he had a bit role in that. Maybe not.
No, you're thinking of. Who did you say? Steve?
Michael.
Steve
Weber, maybe.
Michael was the main guy.
Yeah.
That would have been. I can't picture him in that role.
Neither.
That's probably why he didn't get it. He would have been. He would have been better as Steve.
He would have stood out.
Yeah.
Who was Steve?
The jackass guy.
Oh. Okay.
That would have fit Nathan Fillion because he'd be a smart ass.
Ty Burrell.
But I mean, he was. Yeah. I see why he didn't cast him because he'd have been really good in that. But you've also got
that dickhole.
Yeah.
And then we've already talked about this, but the Lost Tapes was a bonus feature. It was Andy's
I love
video
that.
diary.
It was so good.
So from this info, you can gather the entire film takes place over 29 days. Because the first video diary is on May 8th, and Andy says the attacks have been happening since yesterday, May 7th. And then the final one is like the day before he dies, or the morning that he dies, and it's June 6th.
I like that.
Pretty awesome.
I like that.
They didn't do a whole lot in 29 days. I would have done a lot more.
This movie has an amazing just amount of special features on the disc.
I remember watching a lot of them.
This is back when they actually cared. And we're like, hey.
What was before internet was huge like this?
Yeah, that too. And they put everything. All the making of, all of the the Andy shit that had to have been shot just for the DVD.
Yeah.
Director's commentary with Zack Snyder is worth a watch. You learn all kinds of shit.
This was a 2-discer, I remember.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, she was one episode of Friday the 13th, the TV series in 1987.
Wow.
You are correct, Jeff.
That's crazy.
She's older than... She must be older than what you think, too. But yeah, born in 79.
Wow, so she was like 8?
Yeah.
79 to 87?
Kid actor.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, so any I kind of wanted to mention, there was a line that I wanted to talk about real fast. We've been going long. But I like the big dinner scene where he's talking about all the jobs that he's had, Jake Weber's character. And she said, well, what job were you worst at? And he talks about, I wasn't a very good husband. That's not a job. And then all the other guys are like, yeah, it is. What job do you think you were best at? Being a dad. And then that's when you realize that he's lost his family. He probably lost his kid and all this other shit. And it's just in those 4 lines, like you just learn so much more about the character, and everything that he's doing now makes a little bit more sense, and like why he is so proactive, and it's great.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I also thought it was cool, really quick. We've said that like 4 times too.
This is a good movie. Super good movie.
It is. I love the line early on. Well, what do you do? Like, what do you do? I sell TVs at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Radio Shack. I don't remember what it was. I think Best Buy.
Didn't Radio Shack have a big thing to do with the original?
Boy, now you're putting me to the test. I don't remember.
Something with a radio.
I really don't remember. I mean, they were in a mall. There was probably a Radio Shack back then. But I just liked the way that it was like, it doesn't matter what we used to do.
Yeah.
That's before.
Well, except for Andy. He's a good shot.
Well, yeah, he's a good shot. That's poignant.
That's a drinking game.
And then Ving Rhames is like, I don't follow anybody, or something about stealing TV sets.
But I'd rather follow a guy who sells them than a guy who steals
them. There you go.
I was like, damn! Which made me wonder, did those two have a... No, because he shoots at him and he doesn't know who he is. So
yeah.
Like,
he's just implying.
Because
I don't know.
Black.
Well, Ving Rhames.
Black guy's racist.
Ving Rhames is black.
He's racist. He's one of those church dudes.
James Gunn wrote that line. I'm going to boycott Suicide Squad 2 now.
Do it. He had black on black racism.
Yeah. Hashtag.
That's funny, though.
Let's stop before we get kicked off Twitter.
Right. Yeah, there was a... this is a great film. I love everything in it. But if we could have gotten a little bit more character development from everybody. Because
a little bit. It's a little one note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get those single kind of lines that we talked about.
He's your hero. He's your jackass. She's your slut. And they don't...
Yeah. She's your dumbass, Nicole.
They don't go anywhere really past that.
And don't they watch movies? Anytime a dog's involved, you know that's trouble.
Yeah.
What's a movie that has had a dog and the ending's like, oh, we're alive now with my dog?
Air Bud. Other than Air Bud.
Yeah. Even Lassie.
I don't know.
Lassie doesn't make
There's probably some really obvious fucking thing.
Stephen
King's The Stand.
There's a dog in that?
Yeah, there's a dog. Plays a big part in the end of the movie. That lives...
Cujo?
Longer than most of the characters in The Stand. The dog outlives most of them.
Okay. Sandlot. But see, I'm talking about like in the genre of horror or something like that.
God, I don't know. Will Smith.
No. I Am Legend?
Yeah, I Am Legend. That dog plays a big part in that movie.
But it ruins, like, it ends up the dog ruins everything. Dog runs off in the dark. No, don't go in there, bitch. What's he have to do? Chase his dumb dog.
Yeah.
Dumb dog, dumb owner. Nicole, you got 2 people at least killed. God, I hate Nicole. Stupid. Do we do final thoughts? Was that my final thought?
That's basically our final thoughts, I'm going to say.
We're
all over the place.
Any ideas for next week off the top of your head that you were thinking of that you wanted to do?
No, not off the top of my head. We'll have to consult the master list.
It's not in here.
I was flipping for effect.
All right. Well, if that's it, plug your stuff. We've got Twitter. You got your podcast.
Yeah, you can check my podcast out. It is on pantheonnetwork.com underneath Attack of the Podcast. You and me are going to do something soon.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully. Something. We don't know what yet.
We'll just start talking.
We'll figure it out.
Start talking about Zack Snyder.
We could. I don't care. I don't give a shit about Zack Snyder. But yeah, you can check that out. What else? What do you want to plug?
Indie Gamer Magazine. It's on pantheonnetwork.com. Give that a look.
It's real.
Yeah.
It actually exists. I thought that was a good feedback that you got.
What do you mean? Which one?
The guy who messaged you that was like, see? Like, he tagged his friends in the photo and was like, it is real, bitches, or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. This guy that I interviewed for his game, apparently some people didn't think that it was real. And then he made this big post. And, see, I told you motherfuckers it was real. Like, yeah, you tell them, dude.
That's cool.
Yeah, so Indie Gamer Magazine's up on pantheonnetwork.com. You can watch this. We've got a new little thing that we put out on Facebook called 5-minute takes.
Those are good. I like those a lot.
So we'll just put them out and get some feedback on Facebook. We just each pick a scene that we like from whatever movie. We just talk about how badass the scene is and how it pertains to the rest of the film.
The first one
in 5 minutes.
You did Spider-Man. I did Heat.
Yeah.
And we actually use a timer so that we actually legitimately stick to 5 minutes.
So we don't keep going, yeah, we should wrap this up. We should
otherwise it turns into this podcast.
Yes. So yeah, pantheonnetwork.com, everything's on there. 5-minute takes, Indie Gamer Magazine, Attack of the Podcast, and
shirts and stickers. I want stickers.
Yeah, stickers are coming soon. I'm going to have some stickers.
I want stickers.
There was something else I was going to say.
Spay and neuter your pet?
Yes. We'll see you next week.